Details on the alleged sex trafficking case involving Amanda Talbert, who the state is now investigating next. Plus, an update on our water situation, what City Manager Peter Zanoni had to say at last night's City Council meeting, and how soon he thinks demand will outpace supply. And an eventful night at the State of the Union. I'll speak with Representative Vicente Gonzalez to hear his thoughts. Chris 6 News at 5 starts right now. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Clara Benitez Cortez. We start tonight with the news on a story we've been following for months, as a South Texas sex trafficking case is raising serious questions, not just about the defendants, but about the people who investigated them. 88-year-old Norian Manassian and Amanda Talbert face multiple charges, including sex trafficking of a child. Both have pleaded not guilty, but now the lead TABC investigator on the case is under internal review. The Attorney General's office sent a Brady notice Monday disclosing that TABC's Inspector General is examining how he handled the investigation. Chris 6 News has been following that story for months. Investigative reporter Leah Zora will have the full update tonight at 6. The city of Corpus Christi is creeping closer towards declaring a water emergency. At last night's City Council meeting, City Manager Peter Zanoni was questioned on when would be the best time and what the plan would be for entering a water emergency. Here's what he had to say.
It's not, and we're working, so over these next couple of weeks, we're working on when do we do that. And we're going to be working with state agencies, so we're working to develop that proposal if somebody wants to do it.
City Manager Zanoni says they are working on a prediction for when supply doesn't meet demand, though he says it will be sooner than November. City Council did approve funding for multiple water deals last night. The first was the approval of the Inner Harbor desalination plant with the Corpus Christi desal partners. The next was the Brackish water deal, which will build a brackish water treatment plant at the Owen Stevens water treatment facility. The third was the approval to buy water rights from a ranch north of Sinton. Now, these rights are part of the Evangeline Groundwater Project. Now, speaking of water, we sure do need a lot of it. We're joined now by Chief Meteorologist Stephanie Lauber for a first look at our forecast. But I don't know, is there some rain in the sky we can probably cross our fingers for?
Glad I think at this point we can just run the dehumidifier outside and hope to take some moisture out of the air. But I think you'll have to do it at night because the afternoons have been rather dry here on the coastal bend. And that is why we've been under fire danger concerns the past couple of days. Here's a view outside as folks try to get home, out and around. You may have noticed it is windy today. Here's a look at current conditions. The airport's repeating a south-southeast wind at 25 miles per hour. It's helped us warm up today, but we may break the record high temperature tomorrow. I'll tell you about it coming up.
President Trump is headed to Corpus Christi. A White House official confirmed to NBC News he's visiting Friday to discuss the economy and tout his drill, baby, drill agenda. The president has visited the coastal bend more than once in recent years. In October 2022, Trump held a rally at the Borchard Fairgrounds in Robstown. During his remarks, he endorsed now Nueces County Judge Connie Scott and teased his 2024 run for president. 5 years before that, in 2017, Trump visited Corpus Christi in the wake of Hurricane Harvey recovery efforts. He visited the Annabelle Fire Station, where those first responders briefed Trump on those local recovery efforts. Well, late last night, the State of the Union took center stage with President Donald Trump delivering a record-breaking speech that lasted 1 hour and 48 minutes. He had previously broken the record in his State of the Speech last year. Now, during the speech, he recognized Scott Ruskin, who is a Coast Guard rescue swimmer and is stationed right here in Corpus Christi. Scott rescued 164 lives during the Kerrville floods.
People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said.
Ruskin was awarded the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism for his actions in Kerrville. I spoke with Democratic Congressman Vicente Gonzalez earlier today. He tells me President Trump missed an opportunity with his State of the Union address. The congressman says Trump did not address key issues for South Texas, including our water crisis, public education funding, and the economic impact of cuts that our local military bases could face, such as CCAD and NAS Kingsville. Gonzalez also responded to the President Trump's call to put Americans first over undocumented immigrants. This is what he told me.
do believe Americans should go first in resources and attention and in care. I think it should be America for Americans first. It doesn't mean we're going to treat immigrants with disrespect or we're going to be mean. I'm certainly against the hyper-aggressive ICE raids that we're seeing conducted across the country. I was one of the most critical Democrats on how the border was handled during the Biden administration. And I have to give credit where credit is due. The border is under control. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with the hyper-aggressive ICE raids that are going on.
Congressman Gonzalez also adds, if we are going to deport people, we should do it in a humane way, and we should find a pathway for citizenship for those who have been here for several years. Well, the United States is beefing up their presence in the Middle East as tensions with Iran continue to escalate. Most recently, it was announced that a dozen F-22 stealth fighters are being moved and stationed in Israel. President Trump spoke on the ongoing negotiations with Iran during last night's State of the Union.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon.
More conversations between the United States and Iran are expected later this week. Well, staying with the news in the nation's capital, a small disruption broke out just minutes into the State of the Union speech. Texas Democrat Al Green was escorted out of the House after he was seen holding a sign that said, quote, "Black people aren't apes." Green later spoke to the press on why he chose to make this demonstration.
I wanted him to know, and I wanted him to see it and hear it up close. But judging from the expression on his face, he got the message.
Green's poster stems from a post made by President Trump on social media where near the end of the video, Barack and Michelle Obama were shown as monkeys in a jungle. In Texas news tonight, federal prosecutors say that a shooting outside of an immigration detention center in the state was carried out by Antifa. However, the lawyers for the defense are claiming this trial is being used to punish a group of political demonstrators. A total of 9 people are on trial, with over 50 eyewitnesses expected to testify in the case. In national news tonight, wellness influencer Casey Means is set to become the next United States Surgeon General. But first, she had to answer some tough questions in front of the Senate today. She is one of the architects of the Make America Healthy Again campaign and told the committee she would support a ban on junk food for children. In international news, the Mexican Navy has sent over 100 Marines to Jalisco. They say this is for surveillance and security following the wave of violence unleashed this past Sunday by the Jalisco New Generation cartel after the death of their former leader. Americans in Mexico are now returning home after being stranded in the western portion of the country for the past few days. The U.S. State Department has now lifted their advisory on the area. Planes took off from Puerto Vallarta International Airport last night, with the first ones landing in Dallas at DFW International Airport. New tonight, FedEx is suing the federal government over tariffs that were imposed last year. This comes in the wake of some of the tariffs imposed being ruled unconstitutional. FedEx now wants a refund. It estimates that tariffs generated $175 billion in revenue. It is unclear how much FedEx is seeking to recover. Well, back here in your neighborhood, we have a couple of road closures that you ought to know about. Starting tomorrow, daily lane closures will take place in Three Rivers at the intersection of US 281, also known as North Harbert Avenue, and State Highway 72, also known as the West Thornton Street. Now, these are for new sidewalk constructions. This construction is being done to ensure that the city's roads and sidewalks are in compliance with the American Disabilities Act.
I'm your Westside Neighborhood News reporter, Jada Jenkins. Neighbors here tell me Corpus Christi is a baseball town. And now, after 4 years, the Westside is ready to swing. I spoke to fans about the $7 million renovations to the Greenwood Sports Complex.
For years, Chris 6 News has been reporting on the need for upgrades at the Greenwood Sports Complex. Now, after a long 4 years, the wait is over. I spoke with the president of Universal Little League, Raymond Mendoza, who says this upgrade means everything.
This is what the West Side is about. You know, we've been trying to do this for many years for all the West Side to get together.
The city's $7 million bond 2022 project is set to renovate 3 fields: Westside Pony Baseball, Universal Little League, and Sparkling City Youth Softball. He walked me through what it looks like now.
Okay, so this here is our T-ball field here.
And with plans to get new lighting, irrigation, bleachers, dugouts, and more, he says it's all the West Side is talking about.
All the parents, coaches, everyone is excited to see what is this going to look like.
For Mendoza, baseball is in his blood. His mother used to run the concession stands here. He showed me photos of her serving families at these very fields. And after her passing, he stepped in, continuing her legacy, and eventually becoming president. And says while the fields may look worn now, what's coming will give Westside kids a place they can be proud of.
We're expecting more kids to come out and play ball.
While International Baseball Pony League wasn't a part of these upgrades, Parks and Recreation tell me they plan for a brand new field for their league in the future. For families here, it's not just about baseball. They say it's about finally seeing the West Side get its win.
Neighbors say for years it felt like the West Side was on the bench. And now, with construction set for next month, they say this is what happens when the little dogs get their shot. I'm your West Side Neighborhood News reporter, Jada Jenkins, Chris 6 News.
This dry pond is more than it may seem. I'm Jacob Daniels, and I'll show you how scientists are using it to study our local wetlands.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
What may look like a dry pond is actually helping researchers understand what's below my feet. I'm your neighborhood news reporter Jacob Daniels with how Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Flower Bluff ISD are studying the water table and protecting these wetlands.
It may look like crews are just hitting the ground with a hammer, but they're actually using sound waves to map what's below the surface. TAMUCC researchers are studying Flower Bluff's wetlands to see how fresh and salt water connect. I spoke with Mohammed Al-Shalhani, a TAMUCC PhD student who explained to me what these mean.
So we hit the ground, we send sound wave into the ground and propagate through the subsurface layers until it reaches contrast between the layers, difference between each layer.
Now this could be confusing for some, like myself, so I spoke with Dr. Audrey Douglas, who works at TAMUCC, and I had to ask,
And would you mind explaining to me that in a very dumbed down version?
Think of, water flowing down a river. It flows through the ground also, but if you reach a clay layer or a dam, it's going to be stopped or it's going to move a lot slower.
This is why Dr. Douglas says they're doing this work.
So that's what we're looking at. Is there in the ground some sort of layer in the sediment that is slowing down or stopping groundwater flow?
But this research isn't just about tracking water. Dr. Douglas explained that when these ponds dry out, it can hurt local marine life and birds. And it's not just scientists noticing, students are learning how important these wetlands are too.
It feels amazing that this information is getting out there. Bird conservation is something that is definitely really important to me, and with the drought going on and the loss of water, it's definitely affecting those coastal birds.
By studying the underground water and teaching students about conservation, researchers hope to protect these wetlands for wildlife and future generations of Flower Bluff students.
Testing is expected to continue as researchers are trying to better understand how water moves beneath the surface. In Flower Bluff, Jacob Daniels, Chris 6 News.
Reading is more than just a pastime. For one Portland business owner, it's a way to connect to culture. I'm Adam Beam with that business owner and why she's telling me it's more important than ever to get a book in your hand.
Hey there, happy hump day. On this Wednesday, we are looking at folks heading home on SPID, and a lot of you have been asking about seeing a lot more of the contrails in the sky. Coming up in this week's Science Snippet, we're going to explain all the fun things that you've been seeing in the sky. You can see some of that hazy cirrus off in the distance now. It's a sign that we have a lot of water in the air above us, and that makes for a lot of really interesting optics that you see as light passes through those ice crystals up that high in the cirrus clouds. So look for that in this week's Science Snippet. Till then, that's about all the interesting stuff we're going to get from the forecast for the next couple of days. A very boring kind of forecast that just wants to invite you outside because warm and sunny is the name of the game. The winds came to play today, and boy, are they playing hard. We're still seeing very breezy conditions at a few of our official reporting stations. 25-mile-per-hour sustained wind at CCIA. 22-mile-per-hour sustained wind at Port Aransas, 25 at NAS Corpus Christi, and down in Hebbronville, we're looking at a variable 4. Huge difference, but look at the temperature difference too. Sitting at 94 degrees in Hebbronville, the dry line. That's what's happening there. That's why that neighborhood is different there. It's much drier air. Meanwhile, the rest of us, south-southeast winds are warm and generally a bit humid. It's going to help bring the humidity up because we'll keep that wind direction through a good chunk of tomorrow, but the winds in general will be slowly improving. If you'll believe it, it's been a slow improvement already. We're going to keep that downward trend through tomorrow morning, and I'm not saying it's not going to be breezy. I'm just saying it'll be better than it was today. Notice southwest winds for the first half of tomorrow. That wind direction is going to be very important because that's what's going to help us do this. Break the record high temperature for February 26th in Corpus Christi. Our record to beat, 89 degrees. We last did that in 2024, so just yesteryear. This February wants to take the cake. It's been a warm stretch for us here in a very dry month. I'm going for an even warmer day tomorrow. 93 degrees actual air temperature. We're going to need some drier air to do that, so I think it's at least maybe going to feel a bit more comfortable of a 93 than what we're used to seeing, but it's going to be hot. I'm trying to dress that up as best I can. It's much warmer than we typically expect for this time of the year because our average high, 74 degrees. Well, we're definitely beating that. In fact, 93 is more like what we'd see in June. So this warm stretch peaks tomorrow, but we're still going to keep warm temperatures continuing on through the rest of this month and into the beginning of March. But March tends to be a wetter month, and look at this. I've got some rain chances to tell you about as we head into the first week. It's still early, but it's something that I'm keeping my eye on. Here's a look at the next 7 days. 93 is as hot as it gets.
I'm your Portland neighborhood news reporter, Adam Beam, and tucked away here in the city, you'll find the only bookstore with stacks from the floor to the ceiling. But for the owner, these are more than just products. They're a piece of culture.
Well, you have a wonderful trip back home, safe and...
Like many avid readers, Jennifer Hay always dreamed of owning her own bookstore. And after 2 decades of military service, you can now find her in that dream store.
When I informed my parents that I was going to buy the bookstore, my dad told me that when I was 7, I said that I was going to own a bookstore one day.
Over the years, Jennifer has advocated for a simple cause, getting books in the hands of readers no matter their age.
It's a access issue. It's some places do not have books. Some communities don't have any books available.
But Jennifer's push for more readers comes at a time when political views and the written word begin to clash. In 2024, 821 attempts at censoring library materials and services were tracked. Texas banning 801 books across 22 school districts alone. And among many of the works on the banned book list, a particular stat stands out.
Only 6% of published authors are Black authors. However, 44% of the books targeted for banning are by Black authors.
But even if they're banned in the classroom, Jennifer makes sure to keep books like these and her entire inventory accessible to all readers for one reason.
Reading takes you places that you would not have gone. Reading gives you an opportunity to see people who are like you. It builds empathy. You find people who are not like yourself, and you realize that they too have dreams and ambitions, and in some way they are like you.
The Book Inc. can be found here at the Crescent Center in Portland. To learn more about Jennifer's business and her story, you can read it on our website at christv.com. Reporting in Portland, I'm Adam Beam for Chris 6 News.
Adam, thank you. America's favorite fictional bald blinds cleaner is heading for retirement. We'll tell you why when Chris 6 News at 5 continues.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
New tonight, Mr. Clean says he is retiring. That's all according to social media posts attributed to bald cartoon mascot. Now he says he has earned time off So Mr. Clean has represented the brand for over 60 years, and Procter & Gamble says the packaging for the Mr. Clean product won't change and that his retirement is tied to an upcoming announcement.
All of a sudden you have a magic eraser and you think you can just retire. That's crazy.
Exactly.
I don't know, maybe I need a magic forecast and I can retire. But I don't see that happening. Maybe some rain.
We need you to stay here, but yes, we do need some rain.
Yeah, we have some rain in the forecast. It's a long shot, but I'm thinking as we head into next week, the pattern is looking like one that could bring us a little more rainfall. It's going to bring our friends in the Northeast even more snow than what they had this week. So we'll take the rain. Maybe they can send some of that snow down to us and help us out with water. We'll melt it and make good use of it.
Yeah, hopefully. Everybody, thank you so much for watching Chris 6 News. We will see you here at 6 o'clock. Bye.